speaking of the offense, we have talked about the defense a lot. Greg says, do we score more than 16 points a game this year?
Yes.
What do you think the offense can do? Like, what is a legitimate reality? How many
2022,
points?
2022. I mean, it's going to be a different type of offense, but that level of production, like league average, that's what that offense was. I think that is possible. I think that they could achieve that. And I think they average, like 21 or 22 points a game? Like, I could see something in that range for this offense.
They stay healthy.
If they stay healthy.
There's one thing I will say about this offense, and I don't even think this is a hot take. I think this is just a fact. And I'm sure you guys will agree. You're going to see a lot more big plays in this offense this year. Many more big plays. I don't think we can have less. But, this is why I made the video, and we've talked about Darius Slayton, but it's such a – I just think Darius Slayton could really have just a tremendous season. Like, I'm talking like I think the Giants could have 2 1,000-yard receivers, as crazy as that may sound. But with all that attention paid to Malik Neighbors, and Anthony's mentioned this before in this show, how Slayton is a deep threat, but they never really utilized him that way. But you got a guy now that throws the ball deep, and you got a backup quarterback that throws the ball deep. And it's not like they're going to go back there and chuck it down the field every time. But the threat of them throwing the ball deep and stretching the defense is there. And with all that concentration, Darius Slayton's going to get a lot of one-on-ones. And I think he can beat a lot of teams. And he's versatile. He can go deep. He can go across the middle. He's had some drop problems, but he's been our best and most consistent receiver. I just think
I agree. I think this is going to be Darius Slayton's best year as a pro. I really believe that. I mean, I think there's every reason in the world to think that. You have his best quarterback he's ever played with. You have a second-year Malik Neighbors who's going to command so much attention on the other side. I think all signs point to I don't know if he's going to have 1,000 yards, but I think he's going to have his best year as a pro. I really do. I think he's going to have a strong year.
What do you have last year? Like 700.
I think
last year he only had like 530.
Oh, is that what it was?
The year prior he had 770. That was a career high.
There's no Malik Neighbors that year.
And people forget that 2023 season where he had the career high 770 yards. He scored a touchdown in each of the last 3 or 4 games. It was either the last 3 or last 4. I mean, he was a touchdown scoring machine, and that was when Tyrod Taylor took over and started throwing deep shots, and he started connecting with Slayton. So I think a lot of people forget that we had a glimpse of Slayton playing in an offense that actually had an aggressive quarterback that's willing to throw the ball downfield. And now we have the quarterback who's willing to throw the ball downfield. So, I mean, I agree on all accounts. I definitely think this should be his best season.
Sebastian, thank you, brother. He says, what do you guys want to see from Brian Daboll this year as a coach? And why do we, as fans, have more patience for him than past coaches aside from the playoff run?
Well, that's a big part of it. The fact that he did bring a team that nobody expected to make the playoffs to the playoffs. He won Coach of the Year. And I think, first off, I don't think us as fans, if you're talking about maybe I do, but I always have, some may say, too much patience with the head coach and the general manager. I don't think the fan base has a lot of patience with Brian Daboll. If it was up to the fans this past offseason, I think Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll would have been out of a job. That's what I believe.
Well, it was up to Trudeau, Brian Daboll being the employee.
Yeah, but I mean, Sebastian, the reason why I think they have a little bit more patience than the other coaches is, one, they've shown some promise. With Joe Judge, you really saw none of it. With Pat Shurmur, outside of the play of the rookie quarterback Daniel Jones, you really saw none of it. And the other thing is, I think the fan base is just like sick and tired of seeing constant, immediate change after 2 years. Like, let's finally try to see something through and see if the team could grow. So I think it's a combination of multiple things. But at the same time, Sebastian, I don't really think the fan base is very patient. This is New York at the end of the day. New York Knicks fans were celebrating, or at least a portion of New York Knicks fans were celebrating, that the Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau. He brought the team to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. So there's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be a large portion of the fan base that wants the coach fired, regardless of the accolades. So I don't know if I agree, Sebastian, that the fans are patient with Brian Daboll. I think they're more so, I think it's more so the owner has been more patient with Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen than the fan base.
Anthony, what do you think?
I don't know how much patience Giants fans really have with him. I called for his firing this past offseason. Obviously, now I'm happy the offseason went so well for the Giants, and I'm excited to see what him and Shane can do this next year. But I mean, realistically, that 2022 season was a type of happiness that Giants fans hadn't experienced for many years prior. So going to the playoffs with that roster, which wasn't a very good roster, was a testament to Brian Dable's potential. And that's why he won Coach of the Year. And I think the potential is still there for him to do that again with the right pieces around him. And when you look at what he had in Buffalo in 2018 to 2020, the first couple of seasons there wasn't a lot of talent. There was a rookie quarterback, a second-year quarterback. But by year 3, they added some talent around him. They gave him Stephon Diggs. The quarterback started to fill up his shoes. And then all of a sudden, Brian Dable was able to cook with that offense. And I think fans are kind of waiting for that moment. When does Brian Dable get his quarterback to finally fill those shoes? When does he get that playmaker? He's got it now with Neighbors, but he still needs that quarterback. When does Dable get the pieces that he needs to really cook and make an offense explosive like the one that we saw him run in Buffalo? I think we're getting close to it, and it might just take a little bit more patience, and I think that's what fans are really waiting for is the payoff here. Obviously, you're not always going to get everything you want all at once. Sometimes you got to get it in pieces, but I think the Giants have gotten some pieces for Dable, and now he's finally got what he needs. And hopefully he can put together an offense that's at least above league average. I know, Chris, you said that you expect it to be around league average. I probably expect that too.
I don't know if that's what I expect. I think that's what they're capable of. Like, I think that's around their ceiling, if I'm being honest.
I really think that I kind of agree with you, but we should try to set our expectations higher for Dable. I think the pressure should really be on. Like, you're playing with a Hall of Fame quarterback under center. Let's get some 26 points per game, man, right? Like, come on.
I mean, I'd love to see it, but if you're asking me what my expectations are, I don't think I think they have a high floor in terms of like past Giants teams on the offense. I think their floor is like maybe 23rd, 24th best offense, which is a high floor in comparison. The previous Giants teams, the floor was 32. Like it was all. So I think the floor is elevated. I think the ceiling is around the same as it's been for me the last couple of years. I don't think they could pass that 15 range. There's just too many talented offenses around the league. I mean, there really is. And we play a really tough schedule. A lot of good defenses.
I mean, I think with Dable, the roster sucks. The roster sucked. And he was limited by the quarterbacks he had. I mean, Daniel Jones, people wanted him out. People want him out. Think he sucks. He was our starter. I mean, that's where our quarterback rooms were for, his 3 years here so far. He had Drew Lock. He had frickin' Tim Boyle. He had, Tyrod Taylor might have been the best quarterback he had to work with. He won 3 games with Tommy DeVito, although we know the defense had a big part in that. But I think Dable has shown that he could take a ragtag roster to the postseason when they were healthy. I mean, he's also dealt with a lot of injuries. And I think that, a lot of that, it takes time to turn over a roster. Like Anthony said, you don't get everything at once in the NFL. You can't just change your team completely around. You have to build. And I think the fact that they have been building now, and now this is pretty much, not pretty much, this is Joe Shane's team. I mean, you still have Andrew Thomas, you still have Dexter Lawrence, but this is Joe Shane. This is his team now. He's now in year 4. All these guys that he drafted his first year coming up on, free agency. So I feel like he should have a chance to work with a roster that he and the GM built together. And I think he's got some talent to do it.